Hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today, the sim has now officially released, and today you guys can now finally get your hands on your new platform. And, well, I can tell a lot of you guys do have it, because San Francisco right now is absolutely chocked full of airplanes right now. We're behind terminals work, you can see little name tags over there. There are so many people flying right now, it truly is phenomenal. So, yes, today we're taking flights in the Airbus A320neo, taking flights from San Francisco to Seattle. Flight time's around 1 hour and 15 minutes in the air, although with ground time as well, plus approach, it takes a little bit longer than that. But, yeah, right now, the world is just full, absolutely full of aircrafts. So, let's jump into the cockpit, and let's set the aircraft up. On come the batteries, we'll silence the master warning alarm. We'll leave the fuel pumps off for a little bit longer since we have got a fuel truck over, and so as soon as the fuel truck arrives, we'll then be able to load that up. Let's jump down to the MCDU and let's start programming this flight. Fingers crossed, this time it shan't fail on us as we depart from KSFO Kilo Sierra Foxtrot Oscar to KC Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. There we go, looking good. We should be alright today. So, flying with an Alaskan Airlines routing today, an Alaskan Airlines A320, not a Neo, just standard CEO tail code, but we'll be using their routing today. So, Alaskan 379, which uses a cost index of 11, and cruising altitude at 360, so that is fine. Next page, our zero fuel weight, center of gravity, and block fuel. The block fuel will update as we add fuel to the airplane. Backstairs the fuel truck now. No liveries yet. Liveries should hopefully be coming in the very near future. So wait for the fuel truck to arrive to the aircraft. We'll fill it up with 17,098 pounds of fuel. Oh, you're not our fuel truck. I have called one over. But, well, it's somewhere in the airport, somewhere, trying to find a way to our plane. If it doesn't arrive, we'll just go use the menu to refuel. Nope, okay, let's do that way then. So, fuel panel, we need 17098, which should be 39% full. Nope, 38, 36, 37. That's what we'll do. So, block fuel, 7.871, 7.9 we'll call it, and center of gravity, zero fuel weight is 50.2, whoops, stroke 21.3. Right, so that's our initialization done. Let's jump to the flight plan and let's set everything up. Passing out of San Francisco, we have a grand total of 2 waypoints to plug in today, starting off with Elma. After that, we fly to, how am I going to pronounce that? Boona, Bravo, Uniform, Hotel, November, Romeo. And there we go. Insert that, flight plan complete. We'll set our departure, which will be from runway 19 left here at San Francisco. And we'll be passing via the Molen 8 departure. Flight time is 1 hour and 20 minutes today. 1 hour and 20 minutes. So, that's all set up. Our initialization is set up. Now head to performance. Our rotate will be a 121. Flaps, using flaps 1 for takeoff today. With flex temp at 68. So, with that all in place, our FMS is now ready to go. Head back to overhead panel. Let us now start up the fuel pumps. So we have fueled up the aircrafts. And let's now start up the APU. So we must switch on, start switch active. So we get the active METAR information here at San Francisco. Oh, get rid of that now, but the fuel truck has arrived at the airplane. Just took a little bit longer than it should have done. So, KSFO METAR. Let's have a look. Current pressure is 2995 inches. Temperature is 79 Fahrenheit. Let's go for the meteo information. So winds are 320 at 14 knots. Few clouds at 3,500. Broken at 20,000. Altimeter 29905. That all looks good. So it's not too bad here in San Fran at the moment. Not looking too bad at all. Let's increase our altitude to 36,000 feet, 360. Settings, we're running on high with some settings up at ultra. So if I zoom down, you can see some on high, some on ultra, one or two on medium, but for the most part, we are running a simulator at relatively high spec. Flight director on. Zoom on the map, you can see our departure in place. And with that, we should now be ready for push and start. Yes, so tomorrow we shall be flying the 747. The route in particular I'm going to still finalise, but it will be somewhere over Southeast Asia. There's a couple of 747s. I mean, that guy is stalling right now. He's got nowhere near enough speed, or I think he has recovered it. I'm not sure what Night Owl's doing at the moment, but again... yeah, this simulator is, well, it's a lot of fun, especially when flying with all the multiplayer people right now. So, let us make final checks, make sure the aircraft is ready to go. APU bleed active. External power off. Strobes are automatic. Navigation lights active. And since we are ready for push and start, let's set the beacon lights now to on. And so with the beacon lights on, the ground crew will basically aware that we are about to start our engines and therefore clear everything up. We'll press Shift P to call the pushback tug over. In just seconds, the jet bridge will now move away from the aeroplane. You can see there are a few clouds rolling in over the airport. So when I did my first video from Las Vegas, San Francisco, a couple of you guys were talking about how unrealistic the clouds were when they rolled in over the airport at low altitudes. In reality, that's exactly how clouds work in San Fran. It really is like that. Parking brake released. Ignition starts. Engine 1 starts. So do one engine after the other on our pushback today. In a couple of moments, we'll be ready to turn the aircraft to the right. Engine number 1 is starting. Let us start turning. As soon as we're aligned to the taxiway, we can then bring the aircraft to a stop. Engine number 1 is active. Let's now start engine number 2. Whoa, that 747, well, our stock unfortunately has crashed. His airplane has faded out into non-existence. Pushback stop. Parking brake set. Flaps down 1. And let's also arm the spoilers. P2 starting. Hydraulics are moving around inside the airplane. Shared cockpit is coming, but isn't here just yet. But shared cockpit has been confirmed and is currently on the way. Engine number 2 is stable. We shall now switch off the ignition. In just a moment, we'll start making our way towards the runway. All flight surfaces should be active for us. Right. Landing text lights set. APU off since we're now on the engines. Increase the throttle a slight bit. And let's get going. Okay, not going just yet. Caution, other traffic. Woomba, unfortunately, has gone and Well, let's hope he's not going to go through me, but instead goes around me. Thank you very much. Right, traffic is now cleared. Let's increase the throttle and let's get going. Yes, the A320neo is part of the standard edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator. What a mess. This is uncontrolled airspace, uncontrolled San Francisco. We're all having fun here today. So, runway 19 left we're departing from today. Taxi shouldn't take us too long. Yes, this is live traffic. All the airplanes here are real people currently flying. Going to need to cross the runway over here. So we'll hold short and just do a quick visual check to make sure that there is no aircraft currently on approach. Nope, the 1047 has crossed. Right hand side, looking clear. So we should be able to cross the runway without too much of a problem. Multiplayer is interesting, to say the least. There's a lot going on here right now. A lot going on here. Will I be using VATSIM? No. There is one or two things with VATSIM that needs clearing up. But we'll see what the future brings for that. Right, check the other runway. That guy's holding short. Left hand side is clear. So let's cross the runway and make ourselves one way 19 at right. I've got someone behind me at the moment. Not sure what that van is doing, but we're going to have to go around him. Yeah, we're on live multiplayer right now, so what you guys do truly is up to you. Could someone create a channel that uploads FS 2020 funny moments? I mean, that exists, doesn't it? Flight Sim Bests. Which server? All servers connect to the same multiplayer, so regardless of what server you're on, you will be able to see me. Alright, so we need to cross 19 right first, before going over to 19 left. Yes, Air Force Proud 95, also a fantastic channel, and certainly, well, his content's fantastic, I do love it. Destination, we're flying to Seattle today, Seattle Tacoma. San Francisco to Sea-Tac. Welcome there, Nando, how you doing? Are you alright, Ethan? What's up? Yes, there is ATC multiplayer out there, such as IVO, but at some point, I'll look into using the online networks. It's just a case of actually preparing everything up, ready to run it. Flight time today, 1 hour and 20 minutes. What graphics we're on? We're currently running on high. No, I'm not connecting to VATSIM. Like I said, there's a few things I need to sort out with VATSIM first. But unfortunately, I don't think VATSIM are willing to talk at the moment, so we'll have to see what goes on. I'd like to get back on VATSIM, but there's just one or two things that need clearing up. Right, crossing 19 right. There's one airplane on final, but far away, and nobody on the other side. We'll hold short of 19 left. We'll go turn on the landing lights, and then we shall depart. So hold short. At the moment I'm streaming every day, but from next week or the week after, I'll go back to my 3 times a week streaming schedule. So, taxi lights sets, spoilers sets, braking sets to maximum in the case of rejected takeoff. Let's go and set the aircraft up. Make sure no one's on approach, which they are, but at 3,000 feet, so got plenty of time in the TBM. Runway is currently clear. There's that aeroplane over behind me just coming in now. And nobody seems to be on the other 2 runways either. I mean, if you're going to take off, it really is now or never. Right, engines up 40%. 1 and 2 are stable. Up to flex. V1 rotates. Positive right, gear up. So we can left hand turn now and start flying our SID out. Yes, we are on Twitch and YouTube. And Facebook also. But Facebook currently has no one watching at the moment. Throttle back to climb. Flaps up. Am I streaming tomorrow? Yes, I will be. Tomorrow, I'll be flying the Boeing 747. So, do stay tuned for that. Should be a rather good one tomorrow. 747 will be tomorrow. Just make a right-hand turn. So we've hit our first waypoints. And therefore, we can now start flying out of San Fran. Oh, there is someone on Facebook. Hello there, Raymond. How are you? Why does it stall when switching to climb? I haven't stalled yet. I certainly don't plan to. I'll turn on the autopilot. And have the aircraft climb. There we go. Keep climbing at 3,000 feet per minute. Need to remember that in the US, standard altimeter is at 18,000 feet. And therefore, at that point, we shall then be switching over to standard altimeter. Show my flight plan 2 seconds. Flight direct to... go towards Sibley direct at this point. There we go. Passing through 9,000. Very shortly, we'll switch off the landing lights. Currently flying with Alaskan Airlines today. We are Alaskan Airlines 379. Yeah, just a basic idea of traffic right now in San Fran. It's busy. Very, very busy. FMS speed right now, currently at 320 knots, passing through 11,000. Alaska do fly Airbus, they fly Airbus A320 CEOs. Not Neos, but we do have CEOs. So our tail codes, November 3836 Victor Alpha, that is a CEO A320, although for the purpose of this flight, we're just using that. Now that we are leaving the hectic airspace outside of San Fran, fingers crossed we should See a little more peace on our approach to Seattle, but I've got very big doubts that things will be very peaceful over there. Flight time is 1 hour and 40 minutes. And hopefully Seattle will give us a little more peace. Yeah, so all those people right now over San Fran, those are real people who are currently playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. So the simulator released earlier today. Yes, I can see Facebook comments. Leo Walker's now there. So Microsoft Flight Sim released earlier today. And, well, it's definitely come to some fanfare, that's for sure. So crazy, just how busy everything is. Have I tried some of the land challenges? Yes, I have. Not too bad. Let's change our flight plan so slightly. So instead of going Sipley, we'll fly direct to Stins. At the very least, that means we can now carry on flying from where we're currently at. And fly a bit more straight line, or have just constant left and right turns. There is also real-world traffic. Microsoft Flight Simulator does support that as well. I have got it turned on, but the real-world traffic is currently being swarmed by the real planes, and so there we go. Oh yes, we do need to set the altimeter now to standard, as we have passed through 18,000 feet. I still need to kind of remember that when flying in US airspace. Because it's so late, I sometimes kind of just forget to do it, so as long as I can remember, it should be alright. Everyone's at San Francisco, and look at this poor, perfectly functional airport over here, with not a single aeroplane flying from it. How long's the flight? Flight is 1 hour and 40 minutes. Is that Oakland over there? Thank you very much. Yes, not a single soul flies to Oakland. It's all San Fran over there. And some aircraft over there. Also, set to make an approach into the airport. Right. So we'll continue our climb. We'll get to cruising altitude, and then we'll add the aircraft to fly. How did I get the game? This is on the Microsoft Store. Although, thanks to Microsoft, I was able to preview the simulator a couple of days early. As a result, I did manage to show it off, show it off as premieres since about 2 weeks ago. And as of Friday, I can start doing live streams, so yeah, these last couple of weeks have been absolutely phenomenal, the amount of growth and support you guys have shown. You guys really are amazing. I've had hardly any sleep, like you, because you watched them all. Thanks for that, Ethan. I mean, if you haven't had any sleep, I've had even less recently, so fair play. I'm not sure what to do if there's an issue with the executable. If you're on Steam, try verify integrity of game cache. If you're on MS Store, I'm not sure if they have any system like that, but verify integrity if possible. Oh gosh, Limmy, he's an interesting character, but when he has his moments, they are hilarious. Flight time 1 hour 40 minutes. I'm using a stick. I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog today. FPS right now 26-27. Although that's not helped by the fact that there's just so much going on behind me right now. But if we zoom in and just hide all of that, there you go. Got a pretty detailed San Fran below. How many passengers on the plane? Well, you guys, my viewers, are my passengers, and therefore, as far as I'm concerned, we have 559 passengers on board. And those are all of you guys, my viewers. Whenever I stream, because this isn't a career for me, this isn't a... Oh gosh, we bring back Rory, seriously Matthew, we bring back Rory. Yeah, streaming fee's not a career, it's always been a hobby. It's something I do on the side, and so... Number of views I got, you guys are my passengers. I'm doing the flying, I'm doing all the controlling, you guys are just sitting there and enjoying the flights. So, as it stands, we have 507 on YouTube, 50 on Twitch, and 3 on Facebook. How reliable do I find the 320? Not too bad. I mean, I can easily fly from A to B in this aircraft without any problems whatsoever. And so, yeah, I've got no problems whatsoever. Flying with a very crowded flight deck, of course. I mean, it's not every day you fit just shy of 600 in the cabin of a 320, but hey. You still downloading, Technocat? How are you doing? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chat. How long have you been downloading this for? It took me 5 hours to download the Premium Deluxe. 5 hours. But then again, I saw this back on Friday and not today. So I was one of the lucky few to be able to stream this early. My Twitch stream channel is Drawyah, so same as YouTube, twitch.tv/Drawyah. Passing through 35,000 for level 350, and very nearly at cruise. Gonna butter the plane? We hope so. We did it at Heathrow, despite the fact we had to fly over 3 aeroplanes that spawned on the runway last second. But, we will do. Do I draw? Not particularly, no. I've got a friend who draws really good. She is really good with what she draws and paints and whatever, but me personally, no. No, I do not. At some point, we will fly GA, potentially towards the weekend. There is no difference between the Steam and Microsoft Store versions of Microsoft Flight Simulator. The only difference is just how you play it, Steam or Microsoft. Yes, so this is all one server, regardless of what one you're connected to, although if you want to know, I'm currently on EU West Europe. Regardless of what you're connected to, it's all the same server, and we all see one another. There's no Xbox release version yet confirmed. Xbox will come either later this year or early next year. Why the name Drawyah? It's my surname back to front. Does EU West Europe allow banking downward sharply? I'm afraid not. West Europe is a very peaceful land, and therefore we like to fly and we like to live. Flying over to Mullers Bay, thank you John for the local knowledge. Yeah, just visually the simulator is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yep, so it's currently live time, live weather here in San Fran. Everything live. That was my real name. It's out there, but I won't say it on the stream. If you took like 10 seconds to look, you'll be able to find it quite easily. But it is out there. Shaken at 4. Have I been to the Hailed Gallery? No, actually, I haven't. Face cam in next video. I mean, I could turn it on now if I really wanted to. The problem is, with Microsoft Flight Simulator being relatively CPU heavy, and the way my camera works... 2 seconds... The stream's not gone. It should still be there. Yeah, hello there. My lighting is completely off at the moment, and so, as you can see, my green screen and whatever is an absolute mess. But I am here. Hello everyone. And yeah, we'll just carry on as is. Anyways, we'll deactivate the camera since right now we don't particularly need it. No face cam, please. It'll block the view. No worries, LK Music Productions. I shall hide my face just for you. Did the stream die for a few seconds? That's rather interesting, because for me, it shows... Okay, 372 frames dropped. Looks like it did cut for a few seconds. My spec is an NVIDIA GTX 1660 with 16GB of RAM and i7 6700 processor. Oh wow, Smith, you're really going to the detail there. I presume you've watched some of my previous live streams and know the questions that I ask and answer about 50 times during the live stream. The chroma key is not strong. The problem is, it's because my lighting right now is off. It's 11 PM in the UK. All the lights are off. My family are asleep right now, and so I'm just here flying at night. If I was doing it during the daytime with proper lighting setup, it looks a lot better. And also, I'm not bright yellow, that's just my basic desk lamp on. What platform? We're using the Microsoft Store version. Microsoft Store. Behind us, got a few aircraft, including that guy there in the 320. It looks like, well, first of all, he's got his landing gear down, so I'm not quite sure what they're doing. We've got that guy over there, although it's quite far away. I presume this guy there is currently watching my stream right now, and is attempting to come up close. Yes, so Steam version can play with Microsoft version. Doesn't matter which store you download from, you will be able to share multiplayer with everyone. Will I be doing a return flight? Not tonight, no. This is my last live stream for today, because by the time I land, it'll be like 1 in the morning in the UK, so probably time for me to get some sleep. Need to buy a razor. I did shave on Thursday, so yeah, probably should at some point soon. Will I do South Africa flights? At some point, yes I will. Does Sim fly well or bad on minimum requirements? It doesn't particularly run too well on minimum. There's been quite a few people who are running just below the recommended spec and have had the Sim crash on them quite a lot, so you do need to run a little higher than the minimum. Tab is greyed out. What do you mean by that, Simu? What tab is greyed out? We're using a controller today. Joystick today. We're using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. Thank you for choosing multiplayer. At some point I will return back to normal AI, but as a sim released today, I thought running with multiplayer would just be that nice little extra bonus. In the flight emergency you can land, yes. Xbox release, I've already answered that question to you loads of times, Jan. Xbox release is not yet announced, either later this year or early next year. Thank you, Pilot Boy, much appreciated. Rest in peace the quality of the stream. Don't worry, by tomorrow, when we do the 747 flight, things will be a little smoother. Flighting keeps crashing and you don't know why. I mean, are you overclocking your system right now, or perhaps are you running things a little bit too high? I'm not going to give you a shout out, but I will be more than happy to silence you. At some point we will definitely do an Australia flight, potentially even this weekend. Flights from Perth to Melbourne, or potentially somewhere else to Melbourne, Perth. There's a few places in Australia I can fly to, but this weekend I do plan to try and do one. Yes, Nightbot does exist. The problem is I haven't touched it in about 6 months. I don't know if it works anymore or not, but Nightbot does exist somewhere. I need to figure out how to bring it back. Yes, the Warthog is supposed to be an A10 stick. It's a licensed product by the It's a licensed Thrustmaster product by the US Air Force, and so the stick and throttle is built exactly the same as what's the real A10 currently has. Although a lot of flight simulators use it on any flight sim because it is just a really nice stick. It's full metal build, it's really heavy, really clunky, and it just feels phenomenal. Throttle too. The throttle is a very nice bit of kit, and I absolutely love using it. The A321 is a longer version of the A320, and the A320neo is the next generation of A320 CEO. So they're similar airplanes, but slightly different. The A321 is longer than the A320neo, and also older. If you're already in a group with your mates, just spawn up at the same airport, make sure your multiplayer is turned on, and you should be able to see one another without any problems. Will I be live tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow I'll be live in the 747. Sea-Tac is Seattle, yes. Seattle Tacoma International. Would I recommend the Warthog for beginners? I mean, I'd recommend the Warthog for everyone. The problem is, be prepared to spend a lot of money to get it, because it's discontinued and a very sought after stick. I paid £270 for my stick and throttle, which was a very, very good price for what it was, because normally these goes for about £400 for both of them together, so for £270 this was just an absolute steal. I got so lucky when it came up on eBay. You can tell I live in London at night. All of a sudden there's people now street racing down the road. How much is the game for sale? So the game is currently on sale for $60 standard, $90 deluxe, and $120 premium deluxe. Sure thing, we can have a look outside the clouds. The frame rate's gone and dropped a bit. And perhaps the aircraft following us has some of the reason as to why. Still a lot going on at the moment. In fact, there's a load of aeroplanes not too far behind us. Perhaps all of you guys are currently following me at the moment. There you go, frame rate's back to 30. Everything's running much smoother. What's my call sign? Ah, Goran, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Call sign is just Drawyah at the moment. Drawyah YT on stream. I'm currently just north of San Francisco. Can I say your name? Sadio. Yeah, Sadio. How far do you have to be for name tags to appear? You can be quite far. It depends on how many aircraft in your area. I think it's like a certain limit of how many tags there are, and so it will show you the closest airplanes to you within a certain limit. Yes, there is a failure menu. No, Area Lewis, I am also reading the Twitch chat as well, don't you worry. An FMS tutorial for Ultimate Dummies. I mean, the videos I published earlier today about the FMS tutorials are about as easy as it gets. I don't think there's any easier I can explain it, unless I was to really, well, somebody else would have to go through it, I guess, because the tutorials I did earlier are probably as simple as I could personally explain things, which is at a slightly technical level with some Boolean, but easy enough to follow along while showing everything step by step. Yes, the simulator can do random failures and emergencies. I'm glad you found tutorials helpful, AR, because I thought they were possibly a little bit too complex for some, but if you found the tutorials helpful, I'm glad that it was of help. Tomorrow I'm not sure of the routing yet, but it'll be somewhere in Southeast Asia. Which runway will we be living at? We should be landing at runway 16 left at Seattle. Thank you for subscribing on Twitch, Area Lewis. Much appreciated. Absolute star. Thank you very, very much. Anything you can recommend to learn ATC lingo? For me, it was just a case of just listening to others speak and kind of using it myself. There's no real tutorial out there. Well, there are tutorials out there, but certainly one of those things that, for me, I just listened to others speak and started using it myself. Kind of pretend I know what I'm talking about until I actually knew what I was talking about. This is the Premium Deluxe, yes. This is the Premium Deluxe edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator. At some point I will do Transatlantic. The problem with that though, so early after Sim's release, Transatlantic will be one of the most boring flights ever. Not because it's particularly bad, but because it's a 7-hour flight, 6 of which is over water. And so, if I did a flight transcontinental, there'll be stuff on the ground to look at. But certainly it's one of those things where I'll do Transatlantic, but I'll give it a few weeks for the initial hype to kind of die down a little bit. Please do tutorial on the 787. I have already done a tutorial on the 787. I've done the 787, 747 and A320 startup tutorials today. Budapest, I could definitely do Budapest at some point. Why don't you do story missions instead of free flights? I mean, I quite like doing free flights, just the ability of flying everywhere around the world. You're not focusing on other people. What do you mean by that, infinite flights? Graphics settings, sure thing. We are currently running most settings on high, couple of settings on ultra, 1 or 2 on medium, but for the most part we are running things rather well at the moment. Why don't I fly the Grand Caravan? I did have a flight planned for the Grand Caravan. I was going to do it as a premiere, but there was a few issues with that flight that I wasn't so keen on, so I decided to pull back on that flight and potentially redo it at some point. Yeah, I'm going to have to get rid of you, Jan, now, because unfortunately you keep spamming on both Twitch and YouTube, and it's really not welcomed. So, thank you for staying by, but I'm afraid it's now over. Is there an option for simulation rates? There's no simulation rates option, but there is time skip. You're not reading other people's questions. I'm trying my best here, Infinite Flights. I'm trying my best to answer all the questions, but there are moments where I do get a little bit overwhelmed, I guess, with how many questions I'm getting. But I am trying my best here. Current altitude, flight level 360, 36,000 feet. At some point, I'll definitely attempt, well, it's not really an attempt, I'll absolutely do Lantos Langeles. It's just a case of flying the long distance. How do you skip time? So if you go to the top panel, you can use travel too. I haven't set a flight plan with the menu and therefore it won't work, but if you use the built-in flight sim planner and set a route with that, you can then teleport from grounds to top of climb, top of descent, final approach after landing. So you can just skip to different stages of flights and take care for everything around. Have I flown over my house? Yes, I have, and it looks relatively accurate. So currently it's 498 views on YouTube, 149 on Twitch, and 6 even on Facebook right now. 6 people, haha. Flying to Hawaii, also boring since 5 hour long. Yeah, so I will do flights over the sea, but sorry for my little brother Jan, just for no reason. No worries, Adrian. I can imagine he's excited. It's only a temporary ban. At some point, if he calms down, I'm more than happy to let him back, but if he's just excited, I'll let him have a moment of time. Just cool down, calm down, and then he's more than welcome back. Can you fly with mouse and keyboard? Yes, you can. It's an option. You recommend on the home page. Is it recommend on the home page now? Oh, that you guys, you Matt Davis. You are one letter away from being Matt Davies himself. Would I be up for bush flying at some point? Absolutely. Back in 2 moments. Right, I've returned. So, as it stands, weather has cleared up a little bit now, and a little more of the scenery down below to view. A couple of aeroplanes still behind us at the moment. Lalakar's joined us. Is he dead? Nope, I am back. Just had to take care of some home stuff for a second, pardon me. Yeah, no worries, Adrian. If you let him know, just kind of calm down a little bit. I'm more than happy for him to return. Closest airport's to me right now. Closest airport's H47 Hotel 47. Whoever's flying behind Drawyah do a barrel roll. Who's that? Where are they? I can hear them. Ah, there they are. As long as they maintain separation, I'm more than happy for them to be there. Can I show my settings? I will show them in just a moment. Just tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you. Can you unban me? Oh my word. It's Rory. Rory himself is back. Oh my word. If you know him, you know him. Sure. When the stream ends, I'll unban you from the channel. Don't you worry. Oh god. Who remembers? Right, that was a bit close, admittedly. Sure, we can fly to Gibraltar at some point. Yeah. I did say, Lalacart, try and maintain a bit of separation, please. Yes, Rory, he's back. He's asked me to unban him, and so when I end the stream tonight, I shall have a look at him. There is collisions, I've just turned them off. If I had collisions turned on, that would have been the end of the flights right then and there. Thank goodness, turning settings off. I'm being chased by a couple of people right now. I've got Lalacart below, or behind. We've got apparently guys somewhere below spawning to up right now to follow me as well. There's a load going on right now. Does multiplayer get annoying? Not particularly, I'm enjoying it right now. Although tomorrow when I fly to 747, I'll probably be back to normal. Ah yeah, thanks for pointing it out, Jose. Look at the aircraft right now. We are no longer rocking left to right. The Airbus A320 is on autopilot and flying stable. It is possible, it just needs the right weather to be behind it. You've been answering my questions, you must not have read your name. No, I haven't. At least I never put 2 and 2 together. Yes, this is live traffic. We have live traffic and multiplayer both together. We are using standard camera settings, correct? Minimum requirements, what was it? Minimum requirements like a GTX 970 with 8 gigs of RAM and an i5 400 series CPU, if I recall from the top of my head. Mute Ethan there. How much VRAM do I have? 6 gigabytes of VRAM. Am I a plane spotter? Not particularly. I enjoy flying more than watching. ETA, we should be landing in around 50 minutes or so. 50 minutes to an hour. Which version do I recommend you buy? I mean, it ultimately depends on which airports do you want and which aircraft do you fly. I mean, I've got Premium Deluxe, but for the most part it's alright. Why am I flying so slow? I'm not flying slow at all. Currently cruising at Mach 0.78, which is the standard cruising altitude. Ground speed, 470 knots. I'm flying quite fast at the moment. Not maximum speed, but relatively fast. Current knots, 470. The 280, that's current airspeed. Bear in mind that at 36,000 feet, there's less airflow outside the aeroplane. As a result, there's less air going to the pitot tube, and therefore indicates the airspeed slower than it actually is. So when you're at transition altitude or wherever, it's the ground speed that you're most interested in. Ground speed and Mach. As those two never change, but the airspeed does change the higher you climb. Settings, we're currently running everything at high settings. Some on ultra, 1 or 2 on medium. But for the most part, we are on high or ultra. Have I flown in Morocco? No, I have not. What's the point of having an airspeed indicator then? So during approach and takeoff, use your airspeed indicator to determine your speeds. So the minimum for the A320 is around, well, it's different approach speeds, different takeoff speeds, but rotate can be around like 120 knots, you can land at around 150 knots. And so at lower altitudes where airspeeds does make sense, then it comes into play because, right, let's go into a bit of detail. So Mach is how fast you are to the speed of sound. Mach 1.0 is the speed of sound, and so when you're cruising, you fly based on sound. Ground speed is digitally managed. What it does is record your speed based on your level ground speed, and therefore the faster you fly, the higher your ground speed is, and that's digitally controlled. No factors come to play. Airspeed, on the other hand, is the speed of the air that flows into the pitot tubes on the A320. So air is currently being fed into these tubes, and that's being fed into the airspeed indicator. Now during takeoff, approach and landing, depending on the wind speed, depending on different outside factors, you could be flying faster, you could be flying slower. And so your airspeed is affected by external influences, and as a result, you use the airspeeds to determine your takeoffs and landings. I mean, if your aircraft has a stall speed of 130 knots, and you have a headwind of 100 knots, it means that your ground speed will be at 30, while your airspeed will be at 130. So your indicated airspeed is ground speed minus wind speeds divided by level of air or something like that. There's a calculation behind it, but your airspeed and ground speed and max speed, all three are different. I'm sure that's a terrible explanation, but it's the best I can do right now at midnight in the UK. If you guys want a full tutorial on some time about how airspeed works, I can definitely do a full thing on it at some point. Does that make sense? I'm rather surprised. Are you a pilot? And where do you get your name from? I am not a pilot, but I have got some real-world flying experience. And my channel name is my surname flips back to front. Has anyone flown England to Australia? I've done it in Flight Sim. I've done London Heathrow to Perth in Flight Sim. But, not in real life, no. Have we hit 11,000 subscribers? Yes, we have. I haven't even had time to put a 10k sub announcement on Facebook yet. Wow, thank you guys very much for that. You are all phenomenal. You are all absolutely phenomenal. Have I watched Air Crash Investigation? Yes, I have. Yes, Squirrel did a video a couple of days ago talking about airspeed and ground speed. I highly recommend you give it a watch. The way Squirrel explains it is a very, very nice way. The way he teaches things way better than I do. Your mutes last until YouTube decides. I have no control over how long, but if you spam again, it goes into a ban. One day I will do a flight from London to Sydney. I mean, I've already done it twice. 2 years ago, I did Sydney to London. In July I did London to Melbourne. And so, at some points next year, I'll then do Melbourne to London via Perth again. Can you jump out of the plane like DB Cooper? No, afraid not. Yes, flying from London to Australia will take 24 hours, just like real life. There's no cabin, but we have got window views. Got right-hand window, and left-hand window. Show you the back of the cockpit, sure thing. Let's give it a second. So, back of the cockpit, you've got a jump seat, a second jump seat, a door, and a few circuit breakers. Let me just use right click to move the camera because it's less laggy. So, it's pretty standard A320 cockpits. Is it possible to play with mouse and keyboard? Yes it is, but oh so highly unrecommended. If you can get yourself a joystick or even a controller at the very least, then please do. Alright, let me start programming our approach in now, which will be via runway 16 left on the Mana 7 arrival. No via. Insert stats. So we now plugged in our star into Seattle. So if I go via the plan mode, you can see fly north of the airport, make a right hand turn, fly back in towards the airport, and then come into land over the north. So you fly over the city of Seattle. You also get a chance to spot Boeing Field and potentially even Renton on the way in. At some point we can do Israel at some point. No, you cannot see passengers like GSX. If you're looking for weather temperatures, you don't want SimBrief, you want to use meta information. Is London now more accurate? What do you mean by more accurate, Zalwinder? Have I flown to Lebanon? Yes I have. I did a premiere on it and I did a charity flight raising money for the people in Beirut. In total we raised around £600 for Beirut, and all of that has now gone to the Red Cross. So I got an email a couple of days ago from the Red Cross saying that the money has been sent to the Lebanese Red Cross and is currently being used right now in support of people there, and the money has gone towards beds, housing and shelter. Would you prefer the cockpit and the legs for the captain? No, not particularly, because that just looked really weird if there's like a floating pilot body with no head. I think I do it right now, where you have the external camera with the models, and the internal camera where it's just empty. Whoops, ooh, sorry, that's just loading in the scenery at Seattle right now, so a bit of a lag spike. Yeah, the way I do it now when it's empty in the cockpit and visible on the outside, probably the best way of doing it. Alright, we're going to let the simulator catch up slightly as it now loads the scenery in Seattle. It's a few moments of slight lag, but there you go. We should now be back to normal. Yes, we are. I see Lalaka's still holding on for dear life. Fair play to them. They've been right behind me this entire time. They've got my back. Have I flown New Zealand? Yes, I have. I flew from Nelson to Takaka. More viewers, thank you very much, ADR. Much appreciated. What joystick do I use? I'm using a flight stick. I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. Do you not get tired standing up for full flights? What do you mean standing up for full flights? I have flown out of Lukla. but not on live stream, not on Premiere. But I have done it in my own time, yes. It's quite a nice little airport. Is there a top descent on the ND? No, there is not. So we are going to be using manual descents for the approach. We'll be using the vertical speed. What are you saying, the game, sir? I'm trying my best to answer all the questions, but I am missing some because of the amount of chat that is coming at the moment. So yeah, I'm trying my best. Oh no, on the webcam I'm sitting down. Don't you worry, I'm sitting down. I've got Herman Miller Aeron chair. Beautiful little thing. Yes, separate throttle and stick controls. When you know when to descend, I usually start descending around 80 miles short of the airport. 80 miles at 2,000 feet per minute with around 250 knots. Is that you there, Tranquility? Is there a tutorial of Turn to Fly? Yes, Microsoft Flight Simulator does come with a tutorial. In case you have to fly Cessna 152, and it's quite a nice one actually. I do highly recommend it if you're looking to fly for the first time. Could the simulator make you a better pilot? Well, any simulator can make you a better pilot. So, absolutely. Could I fly in rain and snow? The problem is, whenever you fly on live players mode, it automatically disables the weather. Because when you're flying with live multiplayer, it makes sure that all your settings are matched exactly. So, same time, same weather, same settings throughout. And so, during these flights, I can't change the weather, no. Some can make you a worse pilot. True. True. Show us the map. I've turned off the map, actually. I've turned the map off for a very specific reason. For those of you who do know, you know. If you don't know, then you don't know. But, yes, there's a very specific reason as to why I have turned off the map. Can I land without the ILS? I'll use the ILS to pinpoint the aircraft towards the runway. So I'll use the ILS for the initial approach, but always I'll turn off the autopilot and I'll hand flight into the runway. Do I fly in real life? I do fly from time to time in real life. I am a very early days NPPL Type M student, but I haven't flown since March. Back in March I did some gliding in Scotland. But I'd like to do a little bit more often, and so we'll see how things go in the future. ILS stands for Instrument Landing System, and basically it's the system on board the airplane that will point the aircraft at the runway, the glide slope, and bring the aircraft down. How do real pilots see the map? Real pilots use the navigation display. Navigation display, and the FMS also gives you a time of arrival, but the time in this is not super accurate at the moment. So for example, Bunmer will be at 22:45 Zulu, but we'll be at this waypoint 15 minutes early. So the clock's a little bit off right now. See how things go. There you go, you have overtaken me now. So I can see you now just in front of me over there. Where in the UK am I from? I'm from London. I presume from your username English Wolves, you're from Wolverhampton and support the local football team. Did it fix the wobble on the 320? I mean, I'm on autopilot right now, and we are not wobbling, so you guys be the judge. Yes, real pilots have a... Oh, actually, I do. Well, kind of. If I pop open my sim brief data, and scroll down to the bottom, we do have all of our graphs, chats, and maps. We have got it all here. I love SimBrief, it's a fantastic tool, tells you everything you need to know about flying. Well, Mr. Indian Jar, I'm afraid, will now be going bye-bye. How old am I? I'm 21. Why don't I use Google Chrome? So, I use Edge when I'm streaming because Edge is super light and very easy to run. Edge uses no CPU, no GPU, no RAM, no nothing. So when I'm streaming, I use Edge because it's easy. Whenever I'm not streaming, I use Mozilla Firefox. I love Firefox because it's easy to run. Again, very little CPU usage, no RAM, no GPU, no nothing. I don't use Chrome because it's an absolute CPU hog. It's got an alright layout, but it's super heavy on the CPU, and so I don't like using Chrome. I'll use it if it's there, but Firefox is my number one, and I use Edge as my backup. I don't sound 21. A lot of people say I don't sound 21, a lot of people say I don't look 21 either, so obviously I'm quite young for my age. Yes, and Chrome does track a lot more of what you're doing, being a Google-based browser, while Firefox keeps very little data on you. ETA's around 40 minutes. MCDU, sure thing. A couple of moments, we'll probably start bringing the aircraft in for a descent and start planning the final stages of this flight. Could I do a tutorial on SimBrief? I mean, I did a SimBrief tutorial earlier today, but perhaps at some point I can go into a bit more detail into it as well. So pilot buddy disappeared. I'm not sure, what do you mean by that? Have you left the sim or where have you gone? There's one A320 behind me at 30,000 feet, they're a little bit far away. As it stands, relatively quiet at the moment. Tomorrow we'll do a flight sim stream, definitely. We'll see about snow. Tomorrow I do plan to fly the 747. What are the black and white things to your right? Thank you, SimRate HQ. A little bit of love for you. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Thank you, 6-time Miracle for the 100 Indian rupees. Much appreciated. Only check 2 seconds. Where is it? Yeah, much appreciated, guys. All donations are currently going towards a new PC fund. At some point soon, I shall be doing a... At some point, I'll be upgrading my system entirely. So, new graphics card, new RAM, new CPU, everything. We're going to rebuild from scratch. And hopefully, going forward, we'll be able to run things a lot smoother and a lot higher spec as well. Because while my system is more than capable of running Microsoft Flight Sim, it's not perfect, and so as I say, all donations, all ad revenue, everything that this channel earns me goes back into the channel. So whether it's a new simulator, add-ons, hardware, whatever I get goes right back into it, because YouTube for me is not a career. I've got a job, this is just a hobby, and you guys being so kind to donate, I throw everything back in. What was my main sim before this? My main sim was X-Plane 11. What time will I land? I'll be landing in about 30 to 45 minutes. I will be waiting for the RTX series launch, see what they're priced at, and then make a decision based on what I'll be going for forward. Oh yeah, I never ask for donations. It's there as an option, but I would never ask for donations. That's down to you guys' free will, that's down to your kindness, and like I said, the amount of love you've shown recently, the amount of support has been truly, truly phenomenal since the Microsoft Flight Sim stuff came out. Any thoughts on DCS? I like DCS, I wish I used it a bit more, but we'll see. I wish I used it a bit more. As a combat sim, it is rather nice. Yeah, unfortunately, dude, it's like you have disappeared for me. In fact, for the first time this entire flight, there is not a single multiplayer aircraft anywhere within 100 miles of me. I'm sure once you start approaching Seattle, things start getting a little bit busier again. Now, what's the best video game I play right now? Probably Arma 3. I don't stream Arma, or I don't really show it on the channel, because I used to do it. It wasn't very popular. But Arma 3, I absolutely adore. There are military planes coming. There has been an F-14 announced and an F-18 announced for Microsoft Flight Simulator, so third-party developers are currently adding military planes to the simulator, yes. Can you remove the haze? No, I don't think you can. Do I fly in real life? Yes, I do from time to time, but at some point I do want to carry on with my MPPL Type M and carry on doing some actual real-world flying. For now, simulators will do the bill. What FPS do I get on GTA high settings? I haven't played GTA in about 2 years now, so I'm afraid I can't really tell you. Yes, there are RAF bases. Every single airport in the world is in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not particularly surprised there's no liveries yet, because licensing for them all is certainly a big task. But third-party developers and all the freeware texture people, I'm sure, are currently hard at work right now repainting all the default aeroplanes. Ooh, give me 2 seconds. One thing I need to check 2 seconds. Page. Where was it? Somewhere I had the route I was doing 747. What airline was it? Ah, okay. That's annoying. At some point, I need to figure out which route I'll do tomorrow. There was somewhere I had in mind. As it looks like all of a sudden it's, well, it's not really there anymore. Not Korean. It wasn't Lufthansa. I think it was this one. Ah, that's it. Yes. Tell you what. For my 747 flights tomorrow, could someone attempt at painting a Thai Airways 747? Here's a picture of it. If someone could get the default textures of the Microsoft Flight Sim 747 and repaint it in Thai colours, it won't be a -8, but it will be -8. You guys know what I'm talking about. If someone can repaint it, I'll fly it tomorrow. I'll give you credit for it. I'd do it myself, but I am at work tomorrow, and so I won't have the time to do it. But if someone did it, then I'd show it off during a live stream tomorrow for sure. Because now that the simulator has released, we are now able to muck around a little bit. Repaint kits aren't available, but the texture maps do come with the sim, and therefore it is certainly more than possible for people to actually paint the aircraft. It's not easy looking texture maps, but certainly it's possible. I have seen some third-party liveries being painted right now, and so we'll see. I do plan to fly from Bangkok, yes. The flight I'm looking at right now is Bangkok to Sapporo. 6 hours in the 747. Bangkok to Sapporo. And if you can then drop it into the Discord server, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll give you 4 credits. I'll give you 4 mention during the stream tomorrow. Where are aeroplane liveries? There are none yet. But, well, that's where you guys come in. That's where people can start painting the aeroplanes. So hopefully, because also, as the added bonus, if someone could paint that Thai Airways aircraft, that could also mean that tomorrow we could be the first person actually streaming Microsoft Flight Sim with a custom livery. So there's another extra bonus in that. Sapporo's in Japan. Sapporo's in Japan. It's quite a tight little airport to fly in. And the 747 should be a lot of fun, so that's probably what we'll do tomorrow. Longest flights I've done. In real life, I've done London to Athens. That was a 4.5 hour flight. In Flight Simulator, it will be London Heathrow to Perth, which is a 18-hour flight from London to Australia. We then did a 30-minute turnaround, and then through from Perth to Melbourne. So in total, 23 hours of Flight Simulator. That was next plane. That was a charity flight for the Red Cross supporting COVID-19. So you get the wing cameras, you go to Showcase, and it's the last 2 cameras to view the different wings. You can see a few airplanes to our right-hand side now, so we're getting quite busy at the moment in the airspace. Graphics settings, sure thing. Running on high or ultra, but for the most part, looking rather good, looking rather smooth. Did you see Black Grill pilots? I mean, for the last 2 weeks, I have not slept once before midnight. That's because I'm busy doing either Premiere recordings or now I'm live streaming, and so I'm running rather sleepless. What's about paint? So I'm asking people if they could possibly get the 747 textures, that's the airplane, and repaint it in Thai colours. If someone could do it, that would be phenomenal. FPS kind of getting a solid 30 FPS limited. How many flight hours IRL? Probably around 4 or 5 at the moment. How expensive my PC? That's maybe around £650 on this, spread over 3 or 4 years. At some point I can do a drone cam tutorial. That's what people are interested in. There you go. Delta Airlines 1447. That is not multiplayer. That is a live traffic aeroplane. That is a real aeroplane flying right now. Delta Airlines. I'm surprised one's there. So you're going to Seattle right now. We're at 40,000 feet. I like that a lot, actually. So that is a real aeroplane flying right now. If we went onto Flight Radar and searched Delta Airlines 1447, you would then be able to find it. Well, goodbye MGX. I'm afraid we do not support Horizon's channel, and therefore we are not going to have you here. Oh, so when using drone cam, I'm using Xbox controller. Thank you, English Wars, for subscribing. Much appreciated, man. Thank you very much. An absolute star. I'm using an Xbox controller for drone cam because it just works so much nicer. If you have a controller, please use it for drone cam. It works so well. Oh, you're back behind me, are you? Have a look around. Where are you? There's a couple of aircraft to my right, but not you. Maybe below. Maybe above. No worries, Pete. You take care of yourself. Have a good night. See you again soon. Can you free look in the cockpit? Yes, you can. You're free to move around any way you want. Yeah, the downloads for Microsoft Flight Simulator is rather slow, but don't forget, at the moment there are like 10,000 people downloading off of one server a 100GB game, so it will take its time, but once you're in, it is absolutely worth it. How do you keep altitude stable? Use autopilot. Set to 36,000 feet, so the aircraft will hold at 36,000 feet. Is the game world scale? Yes. The world is 1-to-1 scale with real life. If a flight takes 2 hours in the real world, a flight will take 2 hours in the sim. Took you a whole night. For me it took 5 hours to download. 5 hours. But then this was downloaded on the Friday, and therefore I got to download it and play 3 days early before everyone else, and therefore just avoids the massive rush. Have I experienced any failures in the game? I haven't used the failure system myself, but there is a failure system within the game. You can use the overhead panel. You can mess around with it. So if I turn on the anti-icing, for example, I can turn those all on. I can mess around with the switches as well. So I've got dome lights. It's all there. You can play with the overhead. It's not 100% functional, but it's enough to get the airplane flying. Am I a flat earther? No, no I'm not. The 787 actually has the best VNAV of all of the aircrafts. With it, you can actually fly up, down, left, right. VNAV in the 787 is by far the best. £500, ouch. If that was the case, I would have refunded that to you. Don't worry, Alexandra. I can understand an accidental donation, and while I'm sure you have about 10 minutes of laughing at it, I would get back to you and refund. There's no cabin, but you have got windows. You've got the right hand window. You got the left hand window. Remaining fuel, we have 3.2 tons of fuel left on board. Am I a roller pilot in real life? I'm not a pilot in real life, but I have got some flying experience. We don't need to descend yet, because we've got a few more miles until we descend. So we've got a little bit longer to go. Going to be landing in around 30-35 minutes. Do I want to be pilots? Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to do a hobby license, an NPPL Type M in the UK, but commercial's not going to happen. I don't have the £80,000 to go commercial, and so that's not the feature for me. Yes, Toyota have announced the A340, and it's certainly something that I will be checking out. A rare accent. How's my accent rare? Flight mushrooms. What makes it so rare? Yes, we are flying multiplayer right now. We can switch names off. We can do that under General, Traffic, Show Name Plates. So you can turn them off and you can fly without them being visible. In a couple of minutes, we shall be starting our top of descent. So LNAV stands for Lateral Navigation and controls the aircraft turning left and right. We turn some right side because of the window. But Lateral Navigation is how you fly from waypoints to waypoints, VOR to VOR, and controls your aircraft turning left and right. VNAV, or Vertical Navigation, controls your pitch going up and down to head at your altitude, and also the throttle to maintain your speed. And so this will be this section here. So for example, 270 knots at 12,000. Sorry, 120,000. Oh no, 12,000 B. So 270 knots at 12,000, 250 knots at 11,000, so forth. So the airspeed and the altitude gets controlled by your VNAV. So jealous, you left it for 16 hours, still 60 gigs left. I mean, I've been flying this since Friday. Microsoft gave me permission to play this early, and so I've been fortunate enough to showcase this for a couple of days now. ETA to Sea-Tac, around 30 minutes. What time are we shooting tomorrow? Probably start around 7 PM, 7:30 PM UK time. I mean, the simulator has already released, so there is no pre-downloads, pre-release anymore. The simulator's out. It's released. You can download it now, you can buy it now, and run it. Thank you, Dave. I'm glad you enjoyed the 747 startup video. Glad you found it helpful. Yes, if you enable multiplayer, you are flying around with every other user currently using Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm using a stick right now. I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. Right, start our descent. Let's get the aircraft down, shall we? Descend at 2,000 feet per minute. Down to 1,900 for the approach, apparently. So we'll go down to 2,000. I've already done a tutorial on how to fly the Neo, other than an engine startup, FMS setup, and takeoff via nav config. If your card's declining, Alexandra, it sounds like there's a chance you probably don't have that amount in your card, but trust me, 500 is a lot. I'm not gonna force you to donate that much, don't you worry. The airspeed decrease was automatic. It's not that no one's around me, it's I was requested to turn off the name tag, so turning them back on again, there will be some air traffic around us, don't you worry. We're not alone, they are there. Oh, so I'm using predefined cockpit locations, just like using X-Planes, so you can use the number keys on your keyboards to go between view to view, or in my case I've remapped these to the numpad just like an X-Plane, and so now it's just easier for me to jump between the cockpit views. Highly recommended. At the moment, checklists only cover the startup, so you got before engine starting, engine startup, and after engine starts. Thank you, Dinzidix, much appreciated. MCDU does not pop up, no. No, there's no passenger cabin, just the window view. TCAS does display aircraft in your panel, but only on some aircraft at certain zoom levels. How do you know what zoom you're flying? It's called practice. The more you fly, the more you kind of get a feel for the controls. How long's my download time? It took 5 hours, but that was installed on Friday as a pre-release version. So Microsoft allowed some of us to play the game early, and I was fortunate enough to be one of those people, and again, it's been absolutely phenomenal to what you guys have shown me since. And so, in terms of the growth of this channel, I really just have Microsoft to thank for just how massive this has been. Can I speak French? Not particularly. Very, 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 very basic. Very basic French. Ça va. Ça va bien, merci. I can ask you when your birthday is. Quelle est la date aujourd'hui, bon anniversaire? But, no, my French is... If I spent like a day just studying French again, I could probably remember what I've learned, because I spent about 6 years learning it in school, so if I spent a day learning it and practicing, I could probably do it again. But, not very well, no. You watched the Malmita Mary Harmon vids, took off her house. I presume you also watched the bit where I was singing the national anthem of Finland as well. I'm not quite sure why I did that, but all of a sudden I became super famous in Finland because everyone went and watched me singing the anthem. It was surreal. Absolutely surreal. I'm no longer descending for some reason. There we go. Let's increase it to 2,500 feet per minute. Yes, so the jet aircraft do have a few autopilot bugs with them, but as time goes on, I'm sure they will get improved. We'll see some updates with them. The thing in Finland, that was my flights from Helsinki, Malmö to Mariehamn. What's left from Estonia? I do plan to fly from Thailand at some point. That is on my list of places to go. Ooh, have you? Let's have a look at Discord quickly. Very nice. Very nice, I like that. Yeah, the simulator just looks phenomenal. Nothing compares. Absolutely nothing compares. Some point I can do Israel at some point. What's the flight menu? We're already descending. Come on, Source, you're a little bit late there. I'm not quite sure where the Olympic National Park is, but we are just flying a set approach for Seattle at the moment. Currently Sea-Tac waiting for arrival. Currently landing on runway 16 left at Seattle. 16 left. At some point I will fly through Africa, yes. At some point I'll fly through Ireland, yes. There's an aeroplane just to my left there, an A320. Doesn't look too far away from us. Passing through 22,000. A few mountains to our left hand side. A bit too far away to see that one. You have control channels, a friend of mine who's a flight instructor. Feel free to tell him Drawyah sent you. Let's decrease our descent rate now. We'll go back to 1,500 feet per minute. We're going a little bit too fast right now. So we'll minimise that slightly and just focus on our approach once again. We'll also plug in the performance into Seattle. So let's grab the meta information. KC. Next phase, next phase. Need to convert something. It's 1019, which is 3009. QNH. Temperature is currently 26 degrees centigrade. Magnitude and wind currently is 200 at 8 knots. Transition altitude 18,000. And decision height is 1,900. We have passed through 18,000 now, so we'll return back to standard altimeter. 300. 9. Actually, probably a bit higher than we'd like to be at this point. Yeah, we're still a fair few miles away. Tell you what, we'll leave this at that now. We can start increasing our descent a little bit later if we need to. Potentially even drop the aircraft towards the final stage and take a manual routing around. On my setup, I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, using the stick and the throttle. Ah, David, thank you very much for the £10 there. Thank you very, very much. Enjoyed the content of last week or so? You've been learning how to fly the 7810 for my videos. Next to the aircraft, been flying it all day. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I presume you watched my tutorial on how to fly it earlier today. And yeah, I'm glad that people have found it useful. I'm glad that people have found it legible to actually learn how to fly the aircraft themselves. So thank you very much for that. Absolute star. How much was the Thrustmaster? I paid £270 for this, but it normally sells for about £350-400, so £270 was an absolute steal. How long left? 15 minutes. 15 minutes to landing. My favourite flight in Flight Sim? Probably when I flew from London to Perth in X-Plane. 18 hours that took us. 18 hours. Start slowing the airplane down now as we approach 10,000 feet. Slower approach, we'll also be able to increase our descent rate slightly. Spoilers are armed. You can now see the textures in and around Washington State will start to appear. Seattle somewhere to our right. Presumably around where all those aircraft are at the moment. Where the traffic's getting a bit heavier. So you can go down to 2,500 feet of descent. I could do a tutorial on keyboard controls and key bindings, but the problem is I've changed them all, so I barely know default combinations myself. You got your left-hand window, and you've got your right-hand window, which I presume will be a little more exciting right now. Soon to pass through 10,000 feet. Let's go with the spoilers. We are just over 30 miles away now from the airports. Let's bring it across about 215 knots. Let's go start using the flaps. As that, at the very least, allows us to start slowing down. How do you know when to use approach mode? Once your aircraft has been established on the glide slope, then you may use approach. We're landing on runway 16 left. 16 left at Seattle. Nope, we're on PC. Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't come out on Xbox until either the end of this year or early next year. Flaps down 1. Patient of a saint. I mean, this is pretty standard. I enjoy doing it. It's a hobby. Flight sims are a hobby. Streaming, sharing what I know, that's just a bonus. Down to 200 knots. I will do an approach and landing tutorial at some points, definitely. For now, it's just a case of actually teaching you guys how to start the aeroplanes. One day, I'll teach you how to land them. Yes, so for me, it's always been, I'm flying the simulator right now. I'm the pilot in command. You guys watching, you're just the passengers. You're here along for the trip. And so I'm happy to talk to you, chat to you and all that. You guys are here just to enjoy what I'm doing at the moment. And so that's how I've always done it. Flight sim's been a hobby for me. Streaming's just a bonus on top. And yeah, it's just really, like I say, I'm the pilot, you're the passengers. We'll have a chat. We'll fly from A to B. You sound way too mature for a 21-year-old. Thank you very much, Matthew. My tutorials are on YouTube. I've done 4 of them. SimBrief, 787, 747, and A320. Drawyah is in the distance, yes it is. And for those who know Boeing, they always take a photo of their test flights with Mount Drawyah in the background. Why don't I use VATSIM instead? I'm waiting for VATSIM to one day get back to me and try and clear a few things up. A few small issues here and there that I need to try and get solved. I'm going to be doing a very low pass to that aeroplane right there. That's a SkyWest plane in real life. A little bit more since we're a little bit too high at the moment. Down to 180, flaps 2. Overspeed. Spoilers set. There we go. That's 170. We're a little bit high for my liking. Actually, perhaps not. We are high, but not by much. In a couple of moments we'll turn on the localizer mode, and perhaps in a moment we'll even be able to go straight into landing. Right, we've half past 10,000, so I should probably turn the landing lights on as well. That'd probably be helpful. We'll arm the spoilers, set the braking to low, as we got a very long runway here at Seattle. And let's continue now with our approach. Yes, an SSD very much helps with the loading of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Tomorrow, we'll be flying long haul. Tomorrow, we shall be flying the 747. A little high, so increase our descent rate slightly. We'll slow down our aircraft as well. 2,500 will level off, or 2,000 will level off. We'll turn on the localizer modes. And let's start preparing the aircraft now for the short final. Yes, tomorrow we'll be flying from Bangkok to Sapporo. Bangkok to Sapporo. We're a little low, you are right, so we'll level off here. Get down. Flaps 4. And our approach speed should be 143 knots. A little bit to maintain the speed right now. We're not too far away now. Seattle just right ahead of us. Frame rate taking a slight hit at the moment because again there's so many aircraft flying around here at the moment. But we should be right. We're not going to stall. Autopilot is in control right now. Aircraft's more than fine. We're perhaps a little lower than we should be at the moment. But as long as we're flying level at the moment and not descending, we'll be alright. Looking in front of me right now, all of the flashing lights everywhere. There's quite a few aeroplanes in the area right now. There's a SkyWest plane above us now. 3,000 feet. I'm not using keyboard and mouse, I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. There we go. Now that all the scenery has downloaded and rendered, it's looking a lot better than it was. With these photogrammetry scenery, so this is photogrammetry, it's technology that uses satellite images to create 3D buildings. It takes a little bit longer to load, but once it's loaded, it does look phenomenal. Now passing through Boeing fields. We are on the localizer. When should you switch on localizer? Just as you're coming onto the glide path, you turn on the localizer. Localizer controls your heading towards the runway. Now it's on approach mode since the diamond has hit the centre points. At this stage, the aircraft's now in full control, and at 1,000, we'll bring the aircraft into land. There's a few airplanes in front of us at the moment, so I do hope they clear, although the airplane in front of us, Quebec X-Ray Echo 2836, that's a real plane and not sim. So actually what I can do is I can get rid of him just by doing this. Data, traffic off, And there you go. Now the runway's a little bit clearer. We just have the multiplayer people, just not the sim ones. Let's turn off the autopilot and let's fly it in by hand. A little bit high. The TBM in front of us, though, he's climbing, so I presume he's just taken off.
500.
Oh no, he is descending as well.
400. 300. 200.
There you go, he's gone around. That's our sets. Knots, 60 knots. Release the braking and exit the runway when able. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seattle Tacoma. Let's increase our flaps. Let's us turn on our APU, turn off landing lights, taxi lights off, and let's go find somewhere to bring the aircraft into land. Or bring some of the aircraft to gates. Yeah, that was a good landing, that. So I actually enjoyed that. At some point I'll go through the settings again, I'll make things possibly a little smoother, but I think the issue with that one is, one, having multiplayer, which is definitely a killer, and two, something to do with photogrammetry. So I'll go through my photogrammetry settings and just smooth things out a little bit as well. But for the most part, that wasn't too bad. No replay, I'm afraid. Microsoft Flight Sim does not have a replay mode. We can do a single engine taxi. Let's do it. Engine 1 needs to be the active run engine. Engine 2 we can shut off. So the A320 is single engine capable and can be used to save fuel. I'm not using rudder pedals. I'm actually using the Xbox controller to control my rudder, so gets a little awkward at times, but for the most part, it's not too bad. No worries, Dave. You take care of yourself. Go have fun. Make a left-hand turn, just a moment. At some point I will do a landing tutorial. I'll go through the ILS with it. No liveries yet. Liveries will come soon. What stick do I have? I use a Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. Yeah, you take care of yourself, David. Thank you once again for the donation today. You have a good one. Yes, multiplayer does affect FPS, especially when you have more planes, because the more planes you have, the more the simulator has to load in, and therefore it can become a bit of a struggle at times. So, tomorrow, I should fly a bit more on my own. Not too many FPS issues for me. There are a few moments where things stutter a bit, but for the most part, I am running silky smooth. Silky smooth. The 1660 is not a bad card. Definitely medium high spec. It's modern, it can run stuff. The 1660 is a decent bit of card. Where did I land? We landed at Seattle Tacoma, runway 16 left. Let's push one of these gates on the left here. Let's bring our aircraft to an end. Right, hit the brakes. Parking brake sets. AP bleed active. Engine 1 off. Turn off the taxi lights. Turn off the beacons. And there we have it. Okay, not the best stopper job in the world, a little bit off the marker there. But like I say, welcome to Seattle Tacoma. Ground services, and let us connect to the jet bridge. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream so far. If you did enjoy it, do consider leaving a like. Do also subscribe if you haven't done so already. I mean, we hit 11,000 subs in this stream today, which again is a truly phenomenal achievement. Why was the engine off? Because we did a single engine taxi. The A320 is capable of single engine taxi, and therefore we can just switch one off as soon as we land. Yeah, like I say, thank you all very much for the support you've shown me. You are all truly phenomenal. Tomorrow, we'll be flying the 747, so do stay tuned for that. If someone can do that Thai livery, that would be absolutely amazing. I'd thank you to no end. But, yeah, until then, take care, you lot have a good one, and I'll see you in the very near future. Take care, and goodbye, and good night.